Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk to you about uh, religion or the afterlife. Now, for one, let me put this thing down here. As many of you may or may not know, I was raised in a Nazarene slash Baptist um, household. I was always taught that, there is a heaven, there is a hell, there's, Jesus, and then there's Satan, and, don't go against Jesus, because, you will ultimately pay consequences. But as I got older, I started to realize and I'm not in any way bashing, it's just what my personal experiences are. I began to realize that sounds, to me, that sounds like a dictatorship. And I know, now I've said this to other people, and oh well, no, you're not thinking, you're not thinking about it correctly. But the facts are there. In a dictatorship, you're told to do a specific thing, a specific way at a specific time, and if you don't do it, you are ultimately punished. That right there didn't seem. It seemed off. It didn't, for an all-loving, powerful God. That seemed very not so loving. However, 2 or 3 years ago, I was eating at a restaurant, and I choked on a piece of chicken, and I actually almost died. I got stuck in my throat, and I was suffocating. I went to the hospital and up at a bigger city, and I did. I prayed. I was like, dear God, please don't let me die. I'll do my best, and please forgive me. And here I am. So whether that be coincidence or divine intervention, either way, something happened. Something hurt me. So I'm not in any way denying that, there was no luck. There was no luck in that scenario. Something happened, whether the doctors being really good at their job, but before I was put under, I was told, hey, you could very easily die from this if, something happens and we make a tiny little cut in your throat, because that's all what they had to do. They had to take a little knife and a little, pair of tweezers and cut it in chunks. And said with even a tiny little cut in your throat, you could ultimately, die of starvation. It would not be a very pleasant way to go. So, but something happened. But anyway, as I got older, I started to think, I'm like, nobody fully knows what comes after death. The only way to really know is to die. But if you die, you can't come back and tell everybody. Well, I mean, I guess there are the near-death experiences, but to fully die and fully see and understand what's after, you can't come back and say, hey guys, I was up in heaven, there was God, there was angels, it's real. I mean, you can't do that because you're fully dead. So there's people that have gotten a taste of what there is, but that also brings up another thing. When you die, your brain releases, I forget the name of it, but it's some chemical that is very, very closely resemblant to acid. So that brings up, and there's no, oh, I think it. No, it your brain actually does release this chemical. So that brings up another thing: is did they actually get a taste of the afterlife, or was that a trip? I guess we don't know. So, but if you look throughout history, all forms of religion through hundreds and thousands of years all have some form of similarity to them. And we know that through every myth there is some truth. So there has to be something there, right? So let me know what you guys think or you guys have found out in the comments. But right now I am currently trying to open up my mind. I'm going to attempt to learn about Buddhism and Wiccan and Christianity and all forms of religion, because ultimately, if I'm going to make up my mind and if I'm going to attempt to find out what is real, I can't be narrow-minded. I have to be open-minded and be able to gather all of the facts that I need to come to a conclusion at the end. But that's just what I was thinking, what was on my mind. Just I'm getting up there in age. I'm close to halfway through my life, and it's questions are starting to weigh on my mind a little bit. But all right, guys. Well, I wish y'all a wonderful evening, and have a good night.